Good.
Hi, everyone. After a little short break, frankly related to my health, we're back with DocTalk. I'm here with Dr. Brittany Hollerbach, and we have had a very exciting time in terms of building an inventory of questions from the listeners. Thank you all for your input. We want ongoing input about appropriate topics. Brittany, one of the best questions that I had over the last couple of weeks is, what are the three or four things that I should do to stay healthy across my career? And that kind of brings in a lot of the questions and a lot of the points to the questions. Staying healthy across a career is what we're about. And frankly, we're a medical director and your occupational health director, and many of your chiefs that are focused on the same topics, and the health and wellness section of the International Association of Fire Chiefs and the International Association of Firefighters is trying to give all of you and all of us help. The three or four most important things that I have viewed across a long career is, number one, firefighters should avoid extremes. You shouldn't be the one that's this, that, or the other thing at the very best level that you can be. You should be the best person you should be, but it should be moderated. Number two, you should avoid substances at any extreme and becoming dependent on them. Too many of our firefighters become dependent on substances to help them go to sleep, help them relax, help them wake up, help them work out. We have, at the extremes again, we have people who become reliant on substances to get to a balanced life. And what you want to avoid from very early in your career is our known issues: alcohol, tobacco. At this point, it's things related to THC and marijuana, to the stimulants, to the pouches, packs, the things to work out, the juices, etc. We've had a long talk about that. Number three, you should not be afraid of your job. You should not be afraid of patients when it comes to our EMS work until you have a known risk. And that known risk is things like products of combustion at the wrong fire, where wearing self-contained breathing apparatus, wearing your air and using your air is critically important. Where you have a known infectious patient and you know that a mask and goggles and gloves are critically important to your health and to the health of everybody else around you. So there's times to be very, very safe and to use all of the PPE applied to you and your air in the firefighting situation. Number four, balance your mental health. Rely on people around you to keep you balanced. Everything shouldn't be a secret in your life. And in some cases, being able to kind of wear your feelings of the day is important to others around you, because if you're an officer, letting them know that it's okay to not have the best day and to be down a little bit or to be thinking about something. And when there's something that's really bothering you, is really important for other people to notice, or for you to notice and say, it's time to get some help. Brittany, what are the three or four things on your mind in regard to health and wellness? Because Science to the Station is a really important resource.
Dr. A, that's awesome. And such a great reminder that staying healthy doesn't require doing everything perfectly and also doing things in moderation, right? So some of my top things are, oh my gosh, sleep. We keep getting asked about sleep. And so, Dr. A, do you want to talk a little bit about sleep and remind folks about our previous doc
That is,
talk?
that is the most important thing. We did an entire doc talk a couple months ago where Brittany talked about her significant research on the topic of sleep, and whether it's sleeping in the work setting or sleeping at home. All of that comes together, and that involves a discussion around your entire department, and when shift change should be, and other really important topics that Dr. Hollerbach covered a couple months ago. Go ahead, Brittany.
Awesome. Another one was, my doctor doesn't understand firefighting. What should I tell them?
We have had a really important set of work done by the NFPA over the years. What used to be in sections 152 and 1582, 1583 is now combined into 1580. The NFPA has known about the career of firefighters and have wanted to work on behalf of those firefighters to make their lives as productive and healthy as possible. There's a set of standards that applies to the incoming firefighter and what that individual needs to be able to do in order to perform this job. That's a kind of a written set of criteria that oftentimes went to the occupational health physician for the department and said this person has to have these physical characteristics or they really shouldn't be in this industry. Another standard at one point, and now part of 1580, is what the ongoing health and fitness should be for the firefighter. Because after a period of years and years and years in this business, things happen. Some people get injured on their own or as part of their work, or they get ill, or they develop a new disease. And we have to have a way of characterizing the ongoing health of the firefighters. That would be the important part of a document to pick out and to take to your primary physician and say, this is the requirements for my job. Whether I have diabetes or I have glaucoma or I have hypertension or I have an ongoing back problem, these are the requirements that I have to have in order to do this job effectively and not put myself at risk, not put my fellow firefighters and EMS providers at risk, not put the patient and the community at risk. And that would be an important part of that document to take. We've talked a lot of times, Brittany, about rehab, and that was the old 1584. And that's a really important part of the firefighters world now is when it's time to rehab, it's time to rehab. And we have a set of standards that has been proven to work in that group. Brittany, what else on your mind?
And on a part of that discussion, I have to say, you mentioned the collaboration amongst so many different organizations, IAFF, IAFC, NFPA, Science to the Station, and they put out a wonderful guide, a physician's guide, and there was a recent update to that physician's guide, and they shortened it and condensed the information and updated it with evidence-based standards. And that guide is available on Science to the Station, as well as through IAFF and IAFC and the partner organizations. So that's a great thing to print out and take with you to your doctor. It helps kind of start that conversation of, well, I'm a firefighter and this is why my risks are a little bit different. So being able to sort of have something tangible that you can take to your physician and talk through those risks and sort of explain your job tasks, especially like the 1582 old 1582, the 1580 firefighter job tasks. That helps that conversation. Dr.
Thanks
A,
for bringing that up.
yeah, absolutely. Talk to us a little bit about burnout as a medical issue. What does that look like in the fire service and EMS world?
Yeah, it has multiple ways that it can be applied in the fire service. But when you've got not to the point physically or mentally where it's difficult to go to work and perform your duties, is the time when we would say burnout has occurred. That is common in our field. Let's just say the public safety field and the healthcare field both. That we can get to the point where serving others and serving ourselves is not matching what our internal constitution tells us that we can do every day or every shift. Burnout shouldn't take you to the point where it begins to deteriorate your personal health and, most importantly, your relationships with others. And that can apply to your family, that can apply to your work family. And unfortunately, both of them become at risk when you become physically unable or mentally unable to do the tasks that are required of you every day. That happens in different ways in different people. It's important for you, again, to know and work with people around you who know when something has changed in your world and changed in your behavior. They would know that your weight has begun to increase, your activity level has changed, you're not sleeping effectively, so that they could notice some physical changes. And then approaches to communication, how you interact with other people around the station, how you interact with the public that we have to deal with, particularly in stressful moments. Those are all times when burnout can become evident to other people and to you. And they can say, hey, Jim, it's time to to get this taken care of. It's time to address this. So it's one of those moments of intervention that may be a lifesaver for your career and a lifesaver for your family and your other important relationships.
Dr. A, that's awesome. And I feel like, again, a lot of the things that we've talked about today have been modifiable risk factors, things that you can pick out and work on. And it doesn't all have to happen at once, right? But we can make little changes that help us sleep better. And perhaps it's sleep off duty, or perhaps it's sleep on duty, and little healthy decisions where perhaps our nutrition is getting a little bit better each day, or we're focusing on hydration, right? So you don't have to do everything perfectly, but making those positive steps each day are so important. If you have a
I,
question that you would like Dr. A to answer in the future, visit Science to the Station and submit it, or connect with us on our social media channels. Consider becoming a member to help support firefighter health and safety research.
Brittany, I love your use of the word moderation because I think that if there's one word, it summarizes what we both have just talked about. In order to be longevity oriented, we need to be a turtle at times rather than the hare. And short spurts of any intense activity, reliance on substances, etc., bad part of our community. Both of us want to see our firefighters to have long careers and to retire healthy. Thanks for the opportunity to present this. DocTalk, we're moving into the middle of summer. Love this time, don't you, Brittany?
I love the summer, baseball and bomb pops and pools.
Very good. Dr. Hollerbach and I thank you for your attention. Stay healthy, and we'll talk to you in July.
See you guys next time.